Party like it's hot. Party like it's hot. Right, hello everybody, and welcome to a special edition of Fast Break. I'm your special host for tonight, Bobby Finstock. That's usually the host of Fast Break, Alex Atiachiska, Mr. Garfield down there. What's up, Justin? And then, of course, below me there with the bam shot, love that imagery, Mr. Clutch in the house. First off, Clutch, how are you, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm excited just to talk game one and with how the Heat are going to win a championship. And then we can talk about Wemby too. That's fine.
That's true. That's true. Yes, we are going to start off where we are covering live the draft lottery as it goes down. We're going to talk Miami Heat versus Boston Celtics. Justin, how you doing, brother?
Doing good. Thank you all for bearing with me during my travels. I'm actually on the road. I'm in Allentown, Pennsylvania instead of LA right now on a work call. Let's go Heat and let's go Rockets. Let's win this number one pick.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
We missed you, man. We've missed you, bro.
All right, Alex.
Yes, sir.
We're getting ready here. We're just around the corner about when this is going to go down. Let me make sure I have this right. All right, my man. How you feeling about how you doing since yesterday? We saw each other in East 10th Street, boys.
Yes, we did, and it was pretty late. So I'm good, man. I'm excited because it's funny because it happened to usually a generation is 20 years per se. This is happening 20 years after LeBron was the consensus first overall pick, and this is just the lottery for Wembayama. So I'm just excited because no matter what, a franchise will change today.
That's right.
It's going to change the landscape of the NBA for the next 10 plus years.
Let's first take a look. Let's take a look first at the odds here. You know, we know Justin wants that Houston Rockets. The Rockets have a 14% chance. They are tied with San Antonio and the Detroit Pistons with the highest odds. The Hornets at second with the 12.5. Trailblazers, Magic at 9. We just talked about it before the show. I see Josh Wingate in the house, host of the Beer and Sports Podcast. Thank you all for tuning in. First off, like and subscribe. We appreciate you. But first things first, I believe my pick for the number one pick, and I think would be the best fit for Victor, would be the Orlando Magic. Alex, you said the perfect fit is?
The best cultural fit is Toronto. I do believe I'm actually
one answer, Alex. One answer.
OKC. I'm gonna say OKC. I want to see him with Chet.
All right. And then Justin, you say the Rockets, right? That's your hometown team?
Biasedly, yes, but in terms of fit, I've been so scared of the Spurs getting him because that kind of culture will turn him into the absolute monster that'll terrorize us for the next 20 years.
Absolutely. San Antonio, if in the top three, I'd say San Antonio, but Magic, I think, he would gel way better with that squad. Clutch, man, what was your squad for Victor?
I mean, for selfish reasons, I want the Spurs to get the number one overall pick. They get Wembanyama. I believe in basketball karma, right? So they've done it right. Pop isn't going to actively tank. The team was just bad. And I'm really looking forward to what they can do with Wembanyama, and he can be in the West and not the East. So I'm good.
There you go. So, and then let's talk about this kid, man. I mean, 7'4", 200, I think 10 pounds. There we go. How do you say his last name? Someone help me out here.
Wembayama.
Wembanyama? Okay,
Wembanyama.
close enough. Close enough. Plays in France, 7'4", 210 last season. Currently, let's see, 21.6 points per game, 10.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 3.1 blocks, and about 0.7 steals. Does anybody on this panel have a pro comparison for Wembanyama? I saw something that was crazy, but watching him play, seeing what I've seen from him, it's not that crazy. But somebody said it's 7'4" Kevin Durant. Alex, is that crazy? Who would you say this?
You can't. There's not one player. It's a combination of Giannis, Kevin Durant, and Rudy Gobert. Like if you put those three in a lab and you just mix it up real nice, that's what Wembanyama comes. I'm saying this is generational because it's the future of basketball, and it's the evolution of the basketball player because he does everything that a 6'6", 6'7" player does, but he does it at 7'5", which makes him unguardable at a certain point. I mean, there's really nothing you can do right now. I mean, you can power him in the post. You can bully him a little bit. But aside from that, there's nothing you can do to possibly stop this kid. The only thing, and I'm going to say this right now, the only thing that will stop this kid from being one of the top players in NBA history is injuries. That's it.
And that's the fear with his size. I mean, 7'4", but only 210. And 210 is for an average. I mean, what 6'10"? Let's say 6'4". That would be
He's
perfect.
very skinny. He's very skinny.
But he's very thin for size. Justin, how do you think he's going to translate into the NBA with his size? Is he worth the hype?
Like you guys said, injury is always the concern. And seeing this guy going number one, it does give flashbacks to Yao Ming. Unfortunately, with his size, he struggled with injury. But we're hoping that it's more flashbacks to Hakeem Olajuwon, big man who had a really great career, won championships at that size, and revolutionized the game of a big man, giving him the dream shake, giving him handles that no other guys had.
Absolutely. Let me go ahead and pull this up here. I was just making sure I am not missing. I'm watching NBA TV here, just following with them, and they have.
And you know what's crazy? You see the projection. You kind of see the pictures of Wembanyama when he started playing professionally, like 2 or 3 years ago, and he's bulked up a little bit by little. So you might see. I'm not going to say a Giannis transformation right away, but you're going to see if people remember when Giannis came into the league, he was a twig. And look at Giannis now. So with the proper strength and conditioning that every NBA team has, he will slowly bulk up to take on the pounding that he's going to get in the NBA. So he'll be fine.
So let me ask this because I think Clutch kind of referenced that, and I just want to get some clarity for you guys. But Clutch, I'll start with you just to kind of start it out because you did kind of bring it up because you were like, it's a worst case scenario. Is it any East team? For like, what team would you, if Victor ends up there, you're going to go, oh, crap, dude.
I guess I don't really have I guess the Raptors.
Yeah,
because
that's a good answer.
The culture we're talking about just for the Heat, right? Because most of us are Heat fans, and we're thinking, oh, we don't want to see this guy dominate us for the next 20 years. So probably the Raptors, they have a culture, they have a nice development system going on over there. So my worst case scenario, my nightmare scenario is Toronto Raptors.
That's
all right.
And Bob, you know what's crazy, man? I'm looking at Justin. I'm looking at the East, the possible teams. Any team that he can go to, possibly from Orlando, like Bobby mentioned. You have, Charlotte's a rebuild, but you have LaMelo, so he can make a tandem anywhere he goes. Indiana, Washington, you got Bradley Beal, so you can go down the list, and you can argue that basketball karma in the East, Chicago is the one that played literally onto the play and that we beat them. So basketball karma, you can argue that Chicago, with Lonzo Ball getting hurt, kind of like a soft reset, a full reset. But no matter if a crazy team wins the lottery, what is going to follow through is all of a sudden now you're going to start talking about trades, because some of these teams have centers in place or power forwards in place that Wembanyama's going to come right in and slide up. So now that opens up another market for those trades for those young players to be traded. So there's a lot of dominoes that are going to fall depending on who wins the lottery.
And just so I'm not crazy here, the lottery is not yet, right? It hasn't gone down because I'm watching NBA TV.
Well,
no, there's 5:51 left till the lottery. It's counting down on ESPN.
Thank you kindly, because I'm like, I know what my team is like, not giving me a timer. I'm like, oh gosh, that kind of sucks. What's going on? I'm like, okay.
I've literally got the hotel TV inches from my computer screen, watching this and this. It's kind of intimidating being this close.
I have so many screens up, and I'm like, I'm not seeing. I'm like, man, they said 8 o'clock. I'm like, all right, man. I know what they're
It's
doing.
funny
They're
because
playing
the whole lottery thing, the way it happens, like you have the media members in a room. So I think the lottery already happened. They're just gonna reveal it. Like only a set amount of people know.
Oh, usually that's how it
Oh
goes.
yeah, it already happened. It's
It
just
already
now the
happened.
reveal.
That's insane, man.
You remember years ago when I believe it was Dikembe Mutombo in 2016 tweeted out earlier in the day, congratulations to the Philadelphia 76ers for winning the lottery. And everybody immediately called that it was rigged. And they won the lottery that night and got Ben Simmons. That was their karma.
Wow. There you go. Hey, we're all talking about Wembanyama, but he's getting the most love, as he should, right? I mean, Adrian, what's this guy, Roche from ESPN? I mean, he went crazy. He said something great. He said this is basically a generational talent, probably the best player ever to come out in the draft. He's throwing all those big words out. But are there players that people are just looking past in this draft? Like, you end up with the number 2 pick. Is Scoot Henderson a great consolation prize?
Yeah, and it depends, honestly, also on the team, because you might look at Brandon Miller. The problem is people might feel it's being overlooked, but I still compare it to like the LeBron in 03 because the price was LeBron James. No one was really talking about Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, and Carmelo. It was featured on LeBron. So this draft is deep. So teams 2, 3, and 4, 5, they're going to have a solid pickup. But the drop off in the possibility, this reminds me kind of like Jerry West. Jerry West, if you remember that time, that's why the Pistons got the 2nd pick in 2003 because they had traded the pick. So Memphis could only keep their pick if it was number 1 overall. And when they were going to reveal the 2nd overall pick, it was Jerry West and the Memphis Grizzlies. And you saw Jerry West's face just drop because you went from having the possibility to draft LeBron James to not even drafting that year in the 1st round. So it's just to the fact that Wembanyama.
That's what I love about the NBA lottery, man. I wish the NFL would kind of follow, like have a little lottery. I think that would be a lot more fun. Oh, Robin House just closed out Dolphins Talk of DolphinsThirsty.com. If you're a Dolphins fan and you're thirsty for Dolphins content, you got to go to DolphinsThirsty.com. Clutch, is there any one player not named Victor that you have your eyes on in this draft?
Talking in general, or me as a Heat fan having the 18th pick?
Let's talk about let's talk it like that. What about Lenny at 18? What player who would you like Miami to get at 18?
Clutch.
I've been really lately. I've seen the clips, and I've kind of sold myself on Jalen Hood if he falls down to 8.
Not Grady Dick.
Not Grady Dick. Well, for name alone, I do want a fan base to start chanting, "We want Dick."
Jalen Hood. Okay, I'm sorry. It was my fault, guys.
BD.
My bad. All right, Jalen Hood. Go ahead, Clutch. Talk to me about it, man. Convince me. What's up?
I just really like the fact he's got the measurables to be a really good point guard, a combo guard even. I mean, we thought Gabe Vincent was going to be out of here for other reasons than now. Why I think he's going to be out of here. Now I think he's going to be out of here because he's going to be making a lot of money because of his playoffs.
To make a big deal. Yeah, he's going to get some money this offseason.
Yeah, I wanted him out of here before the playoffs because I just didn't like his fit. But he's been playing well, and now he's probably going to be out of here because other teams want him. And then we have the obvious Kyle Lowry situation, which if he plays himself in here for another year, maybe not, who knows, to finish out the contract. But if he does stay, then you have him to mentor a guard like Jalen Hood, which isn't the worst thing possible. But I do like his fit. I think somebody compared him to maybe a Paul George type.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested in the fit. They say he's very good defensively, which is Miami to a T. So I like the fit all around.
Alex, your response?
Well, that was going to be my player too. And I really like also, I believe in that range. He might drop a little bit is Nick Smith Jr. from Arkansas. And it kind of fits the same mold. He's a little bit shorter. I believe a little skinnier. But honestly, Bob, you know what I always say, especially in the NBA draft, the way we're set up, there's going to be a lot of uncertainty in regards to Max Strus and Gabe Vincent. We have the early bird rights, so we can match or we can obviously go over the bird rights to extend them. So it's all going to play into effect, like Clutch say. What happens with Lowry? Robinson and Lowry's value is up again. Do you move them? There's a lot of uncertainty in the NBA now. Doc Rivers got fired today, so Philadelphia's going to make some changes. You don't know if they're going to trade Harden, if Embiid is going to be upset about that. So Dame Lillard and Portland, there's so many things, so many moving parts. At this offseason, you're going to be more excited than before. But I still want top talent. There's some drops that you never know, but those two to me are the perfect scenario for us because it's really what we need, a combo guard.
There you go. Justin, I know, when you follow the Heat, you actually cover the Heat on Fast Break. Are you in agreement with those guys, or is there a player they're not bringing up that you go, hey, man, no, this on the outside looking in, this is the player the Heat should be looking at?
I don't know if he'll fall this far, but I'm going to be a little of a homer here too. Keep your eyes on Taylor Hendricks from UCF. Great forward that has a lot of upside potential. If he's available at 18, he's a local Florida guy. Maybe take him away from the Magic.
6'9", Central Florida. Yeah, that's a good follow-up. I like it. Miss Finn's in the house. She'll be actually joining us, I believe, around 8:30 to talk the Eastern Conference Finals preview. She says she has a surprise. You'll see. All right.
Well, we're getting started here on ESPN, it looks like.
Oh, damn, Ben Wallace. Okay. Yeah, ESPN. Are you on ESPN, Bob, or NBA TV?
I'm on NBA TV, but I'll change it to ESPN.
Yeah, no, ESPN now is already introducing and all that, so this is...
Yeah, they're doing all
you think NBA TV would be ahead of it,
exactly, right?
Exactly. No. Yeah, but look at ESPN. Okay, so everybody's at their table here. Oh man, let me. Don't judge me. Well, don't matter.
Hey, and think about this. Do you think Ime Udoka is regretting signing with the Rockets so quick, or he just? I know the Rockets have a bright future.
Sorry, David Griffin.
Belongs to.
Okay, here we go.
Pick, right?
The Pelicans. Okay, so that was going to be the Heat.
All right, so the Pelicans. Let me make sure I get the odds up here.
No surprises.
New Orleans Pelicans. Perfect. He's like, I love.
So
this is instant, right? Like
everything is going as right. The Toronto Raptors are 13 now.
13.
Yep.
Okay.
Orlando
receives this pick from Chicago due to the Nikola Vucevic trade.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
See?
Number 10 will be made by the Dallas Mavericks.
Dallas will keep their pick.
So Chicago Magic are going to end up with 2 picks in the top 11, right?
Yeah,
because that was from Chicago.
Chicago.
Got you.
Right?
Okay. Here we go. So I love how they always look disappointed. They're all like, okay, everything kind of staying the same here.
Yeah, it looks that way.
Indiana. Orlando.
Going to form thus far, only one envelope left before we know the teams in the top 4.
Ooh.
Wow, Detroit fell all the way out.
What?
Dang.
Wow.
I mean, you're ahead of me, so I'm hearing your audio. So the Magic stay at 6.
Charlotte Hornets.
Portland, Charlotte, San Antonio, or Houston it is.
Wow.
Imagine Portland with Dame. Would that convince him to stay?
Oh, look at Ben Wallace. He is not happy. So the Pistons, who are projected to be the number 1 pick, or at least tied for the odds, are out of it. Rockets, Spurs, Hornets, Blazers. Alex, which one of these teams would piss you off? You kind of brought it up a little bit yesterday.
Alex, you're muted.
Sorry, I muted myself because I was listening to. Which one would piss me off?
Yeah, which one? Remember, yes, you kind of brought it up. You said, man, if this team won, I don't know about this. Should I remind you? Or do you know?
Portland?
Yes.
Because it's a whole Damian Lillard situation. It's kind of like if you acquire Victor Wembanyama, Dame Lillard ain't going anywhere.
Well, but what if the go ahead, Justin.
I was going to say it could be an Anthony Davis situation. Remember, they got Zion at number 1 the year they traded him.
That's what I was going to say. To me,
the thing is, they play similar positions, though.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That conflicts.
I would just say, for me, I mean, if you look at the Blazers, if they were to end up with Victor, I would say, okay, do we go ahead and see if we could get these guys together and build around them?
Absolutely.
Say, let's trade out Lillard for his value and build around Victor. Make this his team.
You can build around him, around Anthony Simmons, so it's a possibility.
So it's an interesting
don't be
prospect.
surprised. Orlando with a pick 6 and 11, Bob. We've talked about this many times. Orlando with those 2 picks, they could swing a trade either to move up or to acquire a star talent under contract.
They got the roster to do it. They could do it and make a difference.
Yep.
Oh man, so far.
Okay.
Oh man, this is exciting
So
and
it's
scary.
Charlotte,
I love the draft
San
lottery for
Antonio.
that reason. Let me tell you, Justin, your sound effects are awesome. I'm like watching a little behind you, and I hear it also here. Woo!
Hey,
I'm like, what
You're getting your
happened?
wish, bro.
At your
You're
service.
getting your wish, man. The only East team is Charlotte, so there's a big possibility that he stays out west.
Him and LaMelo, that'd be scary too.
Gosh, if he goes to the
And that's in our division. That's not even just a conference.
And then with Wembayama, if he goes to Charlotte, you still got the Jordan effect too. With Jordan still being the owner, I believe he wants to sell part of the team. If not, but marketing, that's another giant storm.
Oh wait, Victor and LaMelo Ball? Are you kidding me?
That's
At that point, I would think that he'd have to hold on to Pat Riley until the day he dies because he's starting dumb franchises like the Hornets and such, so they can continue this dominance.
Hey, how far until we start talking about Victor Wembanyama to the Heat? Is it 7 years? 6, 7 years?
Oh gosh.
Well, now that he's not going to Orlando, we can't talk about him going to the Lakers.
Exactly.
That's right. That's right.
Oh man, that's insane. It's crazy, but Houston is true. Houston has won the number 1 overall pick the times that the top available player is a franchise-altering center, with Hakeem. So the tradition is there. It's same thing with Orlando. Orlando won the first pick twice in a row, and that's when they drafted Weber, traded him for Penny. So it's something about no matter how much work you put into. For example, all these teams. Your luck is on ping pong balls falling for you. So there is luck in everything that you do in any sport, aside from the hard work and dedication. So this could change a generational. Oh, ready to go? Oh, damn, I'm behind. Don't say anything.
Yeah, bye.
Don't say anything, leakers. If we just see Justin just run away, we know Houston got the first overall.
Yeah.
I'll try and be neutral until it catches up to y'all.
Okay, we're here.
But Alex, like you were saying, man, last time Portland had it, they took Greg Oden over Kevin Durant. So you can mess these things up. Well, unfortunately, Greg Oden had injuries, so that's not counting as such a bust. Not like
exactly
where Cleveland took him, and he was clearly not worth that number 1 pick.
That was the worst year to have the first overall pick. And Portland did this too with Sam Bowie, picking him over Jordan. I mean, they had Clyde Drexler.
Well, that was number 2, but yeah.
Yeah, that was number 2.
And
San Antonio got Tim Duncan. Can't forget that in 1997.
Thanks to David Robinson injuring himself. He had a torn.
Yep.
Well, I forgot what it was. A torn ACL or something.
And they could get their second French potential Hall of Famer here, the Spurs, after Tony Parker got inducted this year.
That's right. What about while we're waiting here as it comes back, and Justin, since you're a little ahead, you could tell us the cut. Hold on. Oh, it's showing Victor on here. I was going to say reactions to Doc Rivers getting canned, but let's hold that off for a minute.
Yeah. This is crazy. And if you hear the story, his mom was a professional athlete, professional basketball player.
Was she really? I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Professional basketball, and his dad was a track athlete. Brandon Roy, man. If it wasn't for
remind everybody who's tuning in. Oh, here we go.
The Rockets, number 4.
The Rockets?
I freaking called the Spurs. The freaking Spurs.
Alfred's going crazy, dude.
Saw this a year ago.
Oh, man.
Trailblazers.
Hey, I told you, basketball karma.
The right to draft a paradigm shift.
Holy shit,
a
the Spurs got him.
generational talent in Victor Wembanyama.
Whoa, there it is.
Number 1 pick.
The San Antonio. He's screaming. Holy crap.
And take a look at the guys they
Ah.
drafted. Duncan, but also
That is,
David Robinson.
hey, that's basketball karma right there. That's basketball karma.
They are not new to this number one thing. They are true.
Wow, man.
They have been
Look at that. Look at their
awarded
faces. You see their faces?
show.
You know what just changed everything for
And they
you.
are standing by with Armando McNutt.
What? How long do you think Popovich sticks around now?
Oh, now he's gonna stay around for a little
He's
bit.
gonna be there till he dies now.
I guarantee you, Budenholzer is coming back to San Antonio, and he's gonna take over for Pop once Pop retires. Now,
Look at that. Tim Duncan in 97, David Robinson in 1987,
Wow,
the number one
bro.
picks the Spurs. Now you're going to get Victor Wembanyama.
that is oh man.
All right, Justin, your initial reactions, man. You're quiet. Let it out.
I'm sorry.
I called this from a year ago. That was the one team that scared me the entire time. And what's worse off is Rockets get number 4, so they don't even get the top 3 after 3 horrible years. And like Clutch was saying, maybe it is karma. The Rockets have been a god-awful, horrible franchise for as long as I've been alive, pretty much. Spurs have done literally everything right. They know the year that this is happening, Pop purposely trades everybody away. And here it is. Congrats, San Antonio. You'll always do everything right.
Hey, and look, even in Houston, for example, you guys were the 4th. You're gonna get probably one of the Thompson twins. You might get Scoot if he falls, which I doubt. So it's still like we talked about. It's still a solid draft, and you have solid players. But obviously, the whole drop off of Victor. Oh look, they're interviewing him right now.
I think they're watching Puerto Rican basketball. You heard that?
Oh,
I think San Germán is playing Maya West or something.
hey Bob, those Puerto Rican leagues are insane. You know who's playing in Puerto Rico, Bobby? Your favorite center,
Who?
Hassan Whiteside.
Oh,
He's dominating.
so there he goes. He's dominating. So the San Antonio Spurs get the number 1 pick. Charlotte with number 2. Portland with 3. Houston 4. Detroit 5. Magic get the 6th. And they have the 11th pick, courtesy of Chicago.
And you know what's crazy?
man.
The Spurs, I believe, have a shit ton of cap space this year, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, they have
Yeah.
nobody of value on the roster.
Their
Their best player is Keldon Johnson.
Yeah, but hey, that's a good tandem to start with. You're gonna revamp the whole roster, man. You strip everything and you build around these two.
No, and you just became an attraction. Anybody that wants to play with Victor.
man. Yeah. Yep. I'm telling
Charlotte,
you. there's
again,
gonna be-
You know what's cool about for kind of like a consolation prize for those teams that missed out on Victor. You know he has all the hype. You know, like, man, this dude's can be the guy. But what if he flops and he doesn't? And maybe he's let's say maybe he's not. More than likely he's not. But if he's a bust, you can't worry about it anymore. You're not going to get him. Now you kind of it's easy for you. Now do your job. You're the player that best fits your squad. You don't have to force a pick. You don't have to grab a guy because everyone's saying he's going to be great. You go get the guy that best fits your team. Scoot Henderson is not. I don't think he's going to go to Charlotte.
No, and
not
look,
with
that's the
LaMelo.
thing. If he goes to Portland, Bob, then Dame Lillard is probably going to be moved.
That's the other
So
thing.
that's an option there. There's many things.
It's-
If Brandon
this-
Miller falls, do you pick Brandon Miller and keep Dame? There's a
That's
lot
right.
of moving
You
parts here.
see,
Yeah, and now that it's shaking out like that, they don't need another guard in Charlotte. They could get Brandon Miller, who can finish his lobs now. And then
That's right.
goes to Portland. That gives them the perfect option now to trade Lillard for something amazing, some huge
so
package.
ESPN mock draft right now had. Oh well, they took it off faster than I could look at it.
You're going to get one of the Thompson twins, probably
Hey,
Amen.
they
Yeah,
said that
he's
Victor,
going forward, it
they
looks
said
like.
that Victor Wembanyama played for Boris Diaw and Tony Parker in the last 2 years in their teams in France.
Oh, that's
Wow.
that's interesting. Okay,
See, it's all according to the script.
that's
That's
Justin's like I should never came here tonight. It's bull crap. No, just, let's see, make sure
you
I
have
have.
and you know what? I love this situation because, and we talked about this yesterday. About before teams would tank and still, obviously, you wouldn't get the first overall pick, but this just balances out. Even if you're a struggling franchise, this just balances out. Just play basketball the right way, and we're good to go. And
Absolutely.
you're going to be rewarded one way or the other.
Let me make sure I have the right coverage here. Let's try this for a second. Okay, then we don't need that anymore. And just to piss him off, I'm going to put the Celtics right on top of his face. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So there we go. The draft lottery has gone down. San Antonio Spurs have got the number 1 overall pick. We know where they're going now. It becomes a mystery what happens in 2, 3, 4, and 5. Again, I can't see Scoot Henderson going to Charlotte, but you never know. They could surprise people. But it's going to be very interesting.
Hey, Bob, I'm going to interrupt you real quick. San Antonio has approximately $60 million in cap space with the player options. So minimum $50 million. So that's 1 max player, possible 2 players in the acquiring players. So this is going to be fun. The West changed already again.
There you go. So it's at our 8:31 Eastern time. We've reacted. We're at the draft line. What do you guys think? Who's tuning in? If you're watching on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, I know we had an issue with Twitch. But first off, thank you for tuning in. You're watching a special edition of Fast Break on the Finstock Sports Network. Smash that like and subscribe button. I'm Bobby Finstock. That's Alex Atiya-Chiska. That's Justin and Naomi Clutch on the bottom here. Miss Finns should be joining us shortly. The top Miami Heat. I'm going to call her Miss Culture for tonight. So as we're waiting on that now, let's talk some Heat and Celtics. The 3rd time in 4 years, the 4th time in, I don't know, 15 years, Alex? When's the last time we faced them with LeBron? So it's the 4th time in Eastern Conference history that we're facing them in the modern era, but the 3rd time in 4 years. And the Heat, obviously, it's a split series, 1-1. The Heat went 2-2 this season with the Boston Celtics. Let me make sure I had it pulled up. Well, I don't have it for this one, but Boston beat Miami in October, 111-104. Then they beat them again, 134-121, before Miami won the last 2 games, 120-116 in December, and then beating them in January, 98-95. The Heat played the Celtics last year. They lost in Game 7. Missed opportunity by Jimmy Butler, and Butler said, we're going to be back in this spot. We're going to come back here. And lo and freaking behold, the Heat are back in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Boston Celtics to redeem themselves to possibly face the Nuggets or the Lakers. Clutch, I'm going to start with you. How do you feel? We'll get into details in a bit, but how do you feel about this matchup, this series matchup, and Game 1, and the Heat going into Game 1 tomorrow in Boston?
Hey, when we kind of talked about basketball karma earlier with the Spurs. Now here's the other side of it. They did what they were supposed to do. They won what they were supposed to win, and they find themselves rewarded by karma an Eastern Conference Final berth as an 8th seed. So shout out to them. I think I've said this. Alex is a witness. I said this since the beginning. The team will go as far as Jimmy Butler takes them, and as long as you got Jimmy Butler, you have a chance.
That's true.
And you can't help but be confident when you see Jimmy Butler talking like that. People misconstrue that as Jimmy Butler being like, okay, he's arrogant. He's one of those. But no, you have to think about it this way. He says all that stuff so his teammates hear it. So his teammates believe the same way Jimmy Butler believes. And the last time we're playing Game 1 in Boston in the TD Garden, the last time Jimmy Butler was in that garden, he had a performance that was very similar to LeBron James back in 2012, I want to say.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. I think that he have a better chance than they're giving them. They're giving him, I think ESPN is giving them a 3% chance. 3%.
Did they raise it to 4?
Honestly, I think Jimmy wants it to be lower.
I do too. I agree with you. So I absolutely agree with you. And, Jimmy is doing this more to build self-confidence, but also put confidence within his teammates to believe that they can go do this. And it really is Jimmy's team. This team does not go anywhere without Jimmy Butler. I really believe that. They got some great young pieces. They got some good young pieces that could grow into something, but it's Jimmy Butler's team. The reason why they're here is because of Jimmy Butler. Justin, your thoughts on this? We'll get more into it, but just initially, when you saw this matchup, how did you feel? Do you think the Heat have a good shot against Boston? Do you think they had a better shot against Philadelphia? What are your thoughts about this matchup, this series coming up?
Well, first off, you said Butler's quote, but you didn't finish it. He said, we're going to be back here and we're going to get it done. And I believe they will get it done this time.
Ooh, all right.
Shot that he took last year and missed, I believe that's living in Jimmy's mind every second of every last day. Just like hate to say this, the Ray Allen shot in 2013 lived in the Spurs' heads that entire year. They were on a mission. They did what they did to us. Congrats. I think Jimmy's that kind of guy. In fact, I've never seen anybody, maybe since T-Mac, 30 and 31 seconds, whatever it was, 13 and 30 seconds, what it was.
Mhm.
I've never seen anybody playing like Jimmy Butler's been playing this postseason. Like, he's just seeing like, okay, we got to go 18 back to get these guys. Don't worry, I got it. Like, oh no, we're not stopping when he's 12 down. 6 more like, oh, we're coming. Takes the lead. Jimmy Butler, Jimmy effing buckets.
What is it? Timothy Butler? Is that what it is? I will say, and I'm going to preference this very quick, Alex. I'll let you take the floor, and then we'll go over stats from the season and everything else. But before the postseason, when I had the brackets ahead of me, I did have Miami and Boston in the Western Conference. I did not have. I had Phoenix and Golden State, so that totally butchered. Which that game is going on now. But I did have Boston versus Miami in the Eastern Conference Final, and just because of Boston, I did have it going 7 games going Boston's way. Now, after seeing what Miami has done, and I'm not taking anything away from Boston, but looking at what they've been doing, the way they've been playing, the way Jimmy has been playing, it is tough to put Boston over Miami. I think Miami has that chip on their shoulder. I think like Justin's saying, I think they like Jimmy says, they want to get it done with or without Tyler Hero, which is a huge loss. Absolutely. You want him for this series, but you don't have him. But I think with Jimmy, these guys, they want to get that job done. They want to go against maybe the Lakers for Lakers Heat 2.0 and redeem themselves in that matchup, because it's actually the exact same Eastern and Western Conference Finals at the bubble.
Since the bubble.
It's the same. It's and they had a great point on the radio today on NBA radio on Sirius XM. Where it's like a lot of people talk trash about the bubble. But now look, a few years later, the same teams that were in the Eastern and Western Conference Finals are back. So it's not a asterisk or a knock on them. No, they're a great run franchise, and the Heat are back with Jimmy against the Boston Celtics. They lost last year. They got to redeem themselves. And then if they go against the Lakers, we'll see, because Joker is on a whole other level right now. But if they go against the Lakers, that's another saying, okay, now we got to get over that hump because we lost last time. It's a lot of great storylines for the Miami Heat. Alex, we talked about it yesterday. You and I talk about it a lot. But now out here, man, your thoughts. I know you and I both said we wanted the Philadelphia 76ers. We felt like it was a better matchup. He had a better opportunity. But now they're going against the Celtics. I know yesterday you said it's possible the Heat could sweep them. But, well, you know what? The floor is yours. Explain yourself and the guys where we're at.
Well, the reason I said this, because in the Eastern Conference, we'll remove the regular season because our shooting percentage in the playoffs, if you compare our shooting percentage in the playoffs to the regular season, is a complete difference, night and day. Now, we won the first series being very highly effective offensively against the Bucks, and then against the Knicks, we had to win basically being a defensive juggernaut the last game. So it was down and grinding it out in the 90s. So you just won 2 playoff series with 2 different styles of basketball. That's what gives me the confidence in this series, because like we talked about, Philadelphia was a better matchup for us. But you want to beat the Celtics to get to the NBA Finals. You want the same matchup, the revenge matchup. And I believe we didn't show during the regular season, but this team is better equipped than last year's team to defeat the Celtics. Because, yes, the Celtics are only going to go as far as Tatum and Brown go. And I believe we have effective defenders and effective schemes, even with our zone defense, with Vincent up top, even Strus at times helping out, with Butler and Bam. We have a completely different – if the Celtics had trouble against the Sixers defensively, they're going to have a nightmare against us defensively. I mean, them offensively. Because us defensively is 3 steps above anything the Sixers can do. And looking forward, which I'm not going to overlook the Celtics, but for Jovic, we always have trouble with him, but we arguably have the best defender on Jokic, which is Bam. Out of everybody that Jokic's played, Bam is the best defender to play that style of center, where he's a passing big, he has great court vision, he's always moving. He's not super athletic, but he's always making the right play. And that's why he was a 2-time MVP.
Slow down there, Chief. One game at a time.
Oh,
Here
no,
we're talking
it's okay. I'm
Celtics.
just
Let's not
saying.
talk Nuggets.
Okay.
You're
Celtics
gonna
here.
jinx the shit out of Miami. Just calm the hell down.
What I told you yesterday, and I'll repeat today. People have also overlooked. Obviously, Jimmy's going to take the headline. We're only going to go as far as Jimmy takes us, but the role players have been key. We cannot survive a bad bad shooting nights against the Celtics because they will make you pay. We had a bad shooting night against the Knicks, and we saw the results of that. So I want to see how they come out game one, how the shooting comes out, how Bam comes out. If Bam is aggressive, those are the things that you're going to see down the line. It's going to change the series.
Let me just say that some reactions around the league, NBA, in regards to
San Antonio.
Spurs. Yeah, a rival scout on the Spurs getting the number 1 pick. Fuck that. Those guys have gotten enough luck already. They've already got Tim and Dave. Being able to draft the 3 best centers, the prospects of the last 35 years would be some bullshit.
Bro, that's the beauty of it. You can't argue that. That is not something like, oh, he made a decision. No, like those are the things that your whole franchise changes on ping pong balls. Like there's nothing you can do as a rival executive, and you see their faces.
Here's one for the Heat. Dave Ferrones. Am I butchering that last name? Ferrones?
Who?
David Ferrones.
I think that's right.
Probably
Thank you, Clutch. Clutch got it. He says the last 2 Spurs number 1 draft picks were Duncan and Robinson. This can only mean Duncan Robinson is going off in game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals tomorrow night.
I love those.
Excellent.
It's like, oh, hold on. This is great. So much to talk about. And all right, but realistically here, if the Heat did win or were to win, Alex, and let's they could sweep. Okay. Like I said to you yesterday, if my mom had a shell, she'd be a turtle.
Don't do this.
It could happen, but it's
the only conversation that came out because someone said that the Celtics can sweep the Heat, and I responded with, "It's more likely the Heat to sweep the Celtics." I can see that happening. There's no way the Celtics are going to sweep us. No way at all. So
all right, so
I just feel like you're jinxing us right now, man.
I know he's jinxing the hell out of us.
Man, they're not going to sweep us, bro.
Just like when he said, "Oh, Hassan's going to be a superstar. Justin Winslow is the top 5 player in the NBA."
Bro, this is the only thing he has. This is the only thing he repeats.
I have a lot more. But
Number one, I never said anything about Hassan being a superstar. I said we had to max him out that year.
We didn't have to max him. We should have let him walk.
We had to max him out.
Like I said.
We lost Wade. They were going to max him out because Dallas was going to give him that money either way. Justice Winslow, it didn't pan out. The pick was always going to be Booker. Booker was always going to be the pick. Justice Winslow dropped. You picked him. I was happy with it. I thought he was going to be a great 2-way player, top 10 in the NBA. It didn't pan out. So that's it. Next.
Booker didn't even start in college, so it's tough.
Yeah. But Riley was going to draft Booker, and he was going to draft Booker. Justice Winslow, supposedly, that draft was going to go to the Knicks. When the Knicks didn't pick him, he just kept dropping, and we didn't even work him out before the draft.
No,
because
it was a drop. It was a steal.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a steal. But
everybody was crazy.
So
yeah, go ahead.
Man, I hate that. No, we could. It's game 1 tomorrow. What's your prediction tomorrow and for this series, realistically?
Realistically, I see it the same as the Knicks. I do believe we're going to take it in 6 with the same layout. But it all comes down to Jimmy's health, his ankle. The only reason we lost game 2, well, number 1, Scott Foster, and number 2, because Jimmy was hurt. So
that guy's still refereeing games. I have no freaking clue.
Oh my god, bro! I don't. You would think by now these referees would have a performance-based analysis at the end of the year, like all your missed calls. Like,
is it true he was a part of that scandal with Tim Donaghy? Was he one of those? Yeah, is that true? I saw something like that.
Well, I mean, I don't know if he was or not. I'm not 100% sure. But some of these records, when Scott Foster's referees certain games,
dude, when you're 1-9 against him,
insane.
That's bull. Come on.
I mean, just look at the Chris Paul record.
What was it, Chris? Yeah, he has a bad record against Chris Paul.
It was bad. It was like 0-12, 0-13.
That's ridiculous. That's too much of a coincidence.
And what about the referee, the one with the Celtics? That when he referees Celtics games, the Celtics are like 33-4. That's insane, man.
That doesn't make any. I don't know.
There should be parity across. Like there has to be a way to analyze that.
So you say in 6.
I say in 6. Yes.
In 6. Clutch. What's your prediction for tomorrow in regards of win-loss and then just the series? And we'll get more deep in detail, but just your initial thoughts.
I think the Heat have to take one of the first two, and I think one of those first two is going to be Game 1.
Yes,
I think
agree.
they win. I think they win tomorrow. They might drop Game 2, but in my opinion, anytime anybody ever asks me what my series prediction is for any series, I'm going to say Heat in 5.
That's a tradition, man.
There
That's
you
a
go.
tradition.
Okay. And let me just say very quick, I'm with you. I think in order for the Heat to win this series, they got to win one of the first two. And I'm going to say they got it. I think it's starting off with Game 1. If you win Game 1, the Heat win this series. And I think Heat in 7. I think Boston's strong. I think it'll be 7 games, but Miami, I think, wins tomorrow. Justin, man, your thoughts?
I agree. I think the Heat set the tone for this series, kind of take Boston by surprise by taking Game 1, setting the tenacity in Game 1. Jimmy getting the post-game interview like, we're here to win. Just some simple post-game quote, done. I see Tatum, Brown walking down with their heads down into the tunnel like, we'll be back for Game 2. They win Game 2 by a blowout, like all these series tend to be. And I'm going to go Heat in 6 as well. I think they win it on their home court, show the fans that we still got it.
There you
And
go.
Bob, before we go on, I want to say one thing.
Yeah.
Is there a better situation for Wembayama to land in San Antonio? Because we were talking about the Spurs getting lucky, this and that. But I also, as a prospect, as a 19-year-old coming into the NBA, there is no better place to land than in San Antonio with a proven head coach, a Hall of Fame head coach, a proven organization. And
Whoa,
We
Miss
got-
Culture in the house. Love
What's
it.
up? Check it out, guys.
Man, you're quick,
Whoa.
girl. Got it. Look at
that
that.
is
Thank you,
nice.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
We literally came up with this last night, and you were
Literally.
thinking that. That is
Awesome.
100%.
She, as soon as we ended the show, she was like, graphic.
Give me
Got
a
it.
second, guys. Give me a second. Go to the
That
left.
is awesome.
Yeah.
Guys, let me introduce
So-
the one and
so, yeah.
only Miss Finns is her
No,
is her
Miss
stage
Culture.
name, but it's
Miss
Miss Culture
Culture.
tonight. So I'm gonna just go with Miss Culture because I know I'm gonna end up keep saying Miss Finns. But
That's fine. That's fine.
hey, huge series. We were just talking about it. Miss Culture of Miss Finns. If you guys haven't gone to her channel yet and you love the Dolphins, you need to go check her out. She has great content every day. Great friend of mine. Great friend of the Finns Talk Sports Network. She had to come on. She had to talk Heat. She has those. She has some kind of crazy takes where you're kind of like, whoa, but she comes at you hard. She does not lay off. She is not shy to lay it in. So, Miss Finns, Miss Culture. First off, well, no. What are your thoughts on this series here? Are you confident? Are you nervous? Me and Alex both had said that we felt better if it was the 76ers, but we still believe the Heat, they have the chip on their shoulder. That could play into this. But what are your thoughts about this series? And how do you kind of see it playing out?
Well, first and foremost, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. Just so you know, I will be officially taking this thing. So you guys have no claim to it. Thank you.
Beautiful.
But I appreciate you guys will always get a shout out for sure.
There you go. You better.
Yes. But as far as thank you guys seriously for having me here. As far as this series, I'm not gonna lie to you. I actually wanted the Celtics. I didn't want the Sixers because I didn't want that fluke. You know how we had the no, of course not. Because
We get it.
you know how we had the Celtics. We all know the bubble. We all know what happened, and then we had last year, and we all know what happened. Man, it's been such an up and down. But one thing that you could always count on is that he will always be underestimated. And I wanted that chance to redeem ourselves. You know what I mean? Because first of all, I get to go against my dad because he's a Celtics fan.
Oh,
But this, I mean, we're just so evenly matched, in my opinion. I still think we have a better bench than the Celtics. I think that our bench is a lot more experienced, even though they're technically, I mean, we're riding with 9 undrafted players coming into this series. But I feel like with these playoffs, these guys have been able to get the experience because they've had to play. due to our injuries. Obviously, with Hero, we don't really know when he's coming back, even though I heard he might be okay. But then they're saying he's still not shooting, he's still not dribbling, so we still have to wait. If anything, if we were blessed to make it to the finals, I think maybe he might be coming in. As a side note, I would not put him in the lineup. I would bring him off the bench because you do not want to mess this up. I blame Spolstra for the bubble loss because he should have never brought in Dragic back and put him into the lineup. He should have
That's
benched him
fair. That's
and
fair.
then eased him into it. But as far as this game is going to be intense. Obviously, we're playing over there, right? Because we're the lower seed. So
Yeah, first two over there.
this is probably the game for us to steal.
Yep.
And I always say this because teams always it goes two ways in my opinion. Well, technically three, but two ways. The two ways that I mean. The first one is either the home team will win that first game, but drop the second because they take off that foot off the pedal. You know what I mean? Or that team, because it is a brand new series, forget what happened last year.
Yep.
Can come in and take it, and then that puts pressure on that home team to like, oh, we gotta buckle down and actually take this serious. So, in my opinion, I know a lot of people are giving us literally 3 to 4% athletic, but realistically speaking, this is gonna be probably tougher than any other series we've had so far this year, in my opinion. Even the finals, if we were to make it to the finals, to me, this is going to be the toughest series because you have a conference opponent that you've seen multiple years in a row.
Yep.
Similar staff, similar personnel, minus like a couple of people here and there that move on. But overall, we know each other. And when you know each other, it's a lot tougher to try to hide your mistakes and try to elevate what you do have. So to me, it's gonna be the toughest one. I want the Heat to be to win out this first game, but I think we're probably more likely taking the second game of the Celtics than the first, in my opinion.
Okay. All right. That's fair. Let's talk about some numbers very quick because
that was very long-winded. I know.
No, that's good, girl. You just got
This
in.
is
You're
why
all
we
right.
want you on the
Hey,
show,
Bob.
Ms. Culture.
There you go.
Before you go on, Bob, she mentioned something that, and I honestly, it came to mind now when she mentioned Spoelstra. Coaching is going to make a difference this series, and I do believe Mazzulla's inexperience at times in certain key moments might be affecting his team, and I believe Spo has the capability to make those changes on the fly. So that's why these first two games to me are critical, and it's going to come down to coaching at the end.
Yeah, I agree.
Great points. Sorry, guys. I got the Nuggets playing right here against the Lakers, 14-8,
Yeah.
Denver up. So, okay, so
This
tomorrow.
is a tough matchup to the Lakers.
Let's go
This is a
Denver.
very
Let's
tough
go
matchup.
Denver. It is.
Yeah, Denver. The Lakers can't
Let's go
defend
Denver.
Denver at all. At all.
So it
Let's
goes
go Denver.
game 1 at Boston, game 2, then Miami, and then, of course, on and off until May 29th, which is possible if game 7.
Wait.
Let's
You
see.
mean 1 and 2 in Boston, and then 3 and 4 in
Yes,
Miami?
yes. That's right. And then it goes off and on, then Boston, Miami. So talking about the 4 games, which, again, playoff heat are different from regular season heat. Me and Alex discussed this a lot on our own, but also in the East 10th Street Boys. And it's kind of proven that. October 24th, as we were talking earlier, Boston beat Miami in their first game of the regular season, 110-104. Tatum with 29 points, Hero with 25 points. These are leaders in scores. November 30th, the Heat lost to Boston again, 134-121. Tatum with 49 points. Adebayo and Strus both had 23 points together, or separately but together. Miami won the third matchup, 120-116 in overtime, with Adebayo with 28 points and Jaylen Brown 37 points, and then Miami winning a defensive battle, 98-95. Adebayo again 30 points, Tatum 31 points. So Alex would be smiling ear to ear. All of us would for the Heat won, but if Adebayo was the leading scorer, Alex would. I told you. Miami during the regular season, Boston averaged more in points, 107, about 118 average. Where the Heat were 110. They outscored, out rebound, out assist Miami. However, in the playoffs, who's the better player in the playoffs? He's top 3. It's Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is top 3 in the playoffs in performance. And let's see where this Jason Tatum guy is. Who I think, I can't stand.
I'm
looking
curious
at Jason
who's 2-1.
Kawhi Leonard and Devin Booker
Who's
are tied
2
for
and 1?
1. Devin Booker, Kawhi Leonard are tied for 1, and Anthony Edwards for 2.
What in the scoring?
I think so, yeah.
What round
Yeah,
are we
but
looking?
still active. It was Jovic, and that was
Unless they updated
in the
it.
first round.
Yeah, they must have updated it. But yeah. But Jimmy Butler has been the best player in the playoffs. Can you argue that? Is there anybody else playing better than him?
The only one that you could have argued was Devin Booker, but he's out of here.
He's
I was
out.
gonna say, Booker was probably the only other one, but right now Murray's not it.
Scoring
Jokic
wise,
is
because
doing his job.
defensively, you
Scoring
can't.
wise, yes.
Tatum's been
Yeah.
too streaky.
Exactly, up and down. Brown, he's not consistent either. So even though he's their most consistent player, but
2-3-4, 2-3. When were we gonna get?
Bro, he has to change his name, bro. I already told him. Every time he comes on our show, it's the same thing.
He's not talking about the
man, you
Heat,
gotta
right?
change-
Because we weren't projected to get Victor. We weren't even thinking about
We
Victor.
weren't even in the
No.
running. What?
Yeah, we're
Unless
not-
he was talking to Justin.
Maybe.
Oh, well, maybe. Sorry, Justin.
Yeah.
But I haven't mentioned his name in 30 minutes? This is odd.
Yeah, Butler's
Jokic
playing
is the
great.
best in the NBA, he says.
Oh, playing the best in the NBA. Joker
You
is
could
playing
argue.
on another. You got to give him credit.
You could
That's
argue.
true. You can't sleep on Joker.
Hey,
But
we didn't
who,
talk about
who would
it,
you
but
rather
honestly,
face? I don't want to
think
think
the
ahead,
Lakers
but
have
who
a
would
shot.
you rather face in the final?
Honestly, the Lakers.
Go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, going forward with it, do you see anybody who can slow down Anthony Davis in the Heat roster? Can Bam do that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Neutralize them?
To slow him down or stop him?
Oh yeah.
Either
Absolutely.
one.
Absolutely.
Anybody other than Alex Clutch?
I said this before that I am terrified of the Nuggets because they always seem to beat us by 20. So
Oh, interesting. Okay.
The
and
mile
I
high lead.
kind of like the story of getting back
That's
into
what
the
I like.
2020
I
finals
would rather
with
see the
with
Lakers because I want to see
because Jimmy Butler was putting up LeBron numbers against LeBron.
Yep. I agree.
Dude, the Nuggets might make quick work of the Lakers. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think the Nuggets could take it in 5 or 6.
Well, they're
Lakers
playing
cannot defend the
effortlessly
Nuggets.
now, beating them.
Yeah, you see.
They cannot defend.
Miss Vince, who would you rather see in the final? I don't want to think ahead, but who, if you were like, oh, if the Heat go through, I want to see this team. What makes you feel better?
So for me, I'm gonna be 1,000% honest with you. It's a twofer, so bear with me, guys. As a Heat fan, because I'm a competitor, I want the Lakers. I want to destroy LeBron in his face. I want to sweep him, give him absolutely no shots, and smelling a win is what I want. That's the super homer me. But because I do love basketball, I'd love to see us versus Denver. I think it would
Yes.
be a very interesting matchup. I'm not gonna lie. But I'm okay with either or. Honestly, I still think we do have to. It's again tall order, but I do think we do have the pieces and the grunt because at the end of the day, defense is what wins championships, and I do
Correct.
believe we have probably top 3, if not the best defense so far left out of the 4. So
2, 3,
No, in the
2.
playoffs.
Guys,
If
see
you look at the
mosquito
hustle
that flew in
stats,
front of the camera.
What happened?
Did you see the mosquito that just flew in front of the camera at the Nuggets Lakers game?
no.
Well, you're a little ahead of me. Let's see if I could see it. My gosh, 22-9. Okay.
Oh yeah, it's coming in a
Tell me,
second.
bro.
Or a
Oh, it's
few
coming in
minutes.
a second. It's coming in a second.
We're on mosquito watch.
Yeah, we're on
No,
mosquito.
he can't. I just saw him right now too. I'm telling. Hey, look. Honestly, the hustle points with the Heat and on the playoffs is a completely. They are number 1 in every hustle category. That is something that you cannot only Miss Culture. You should know this is only the culture. There's things that you cannot teach. There's only things that you can learn and absorb and live it. And that is the difference when it comes playoff times. And obviously your matchups. Like I see right now, you're seeing these games. I'm not saying Lakers are not going to win a game, but the Nuggets, the game comes effortless to them. Lakers have offensively, they struggle to generate scores, even when LeBron is at all times.
I'm
I think
sorry, I said out loud. I'm going through Twitter here, just kind of following up on anything. And he goes, "Who's stopping this big three? Devin Booker, KD, James Harden. How many times are we going to do that? How many times are we going to always throw that? Like,
man.
go, who's stopping this? Everybody.
And now they're
Themselves.
talking about
Yeah,
Lions, not
exactly. There you
themselves.
go. Perfect answer. Themselves. That's a great answer. I'm so sick of seeing that every time.
I
Who's
mean,
stopping
don't
this?
get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Harden, Booker, and Durant are a much better fit than Kyrie, Harden, and Durant, because Booker's a completely different player than Kyrie. Harden is your de facto point guard there, so that might work.
Can we stop with this James Harden nonsense?
Yes.
Because I am sick and tired. Years and years and years, I've been told that this guy has surpassed Dwayne Wade.
Yep.
Years and years
Preach.
and years and years. I saw somebody post a stat yesterday saying James Harden is still better than Dwayne Wade. Regardless of what happens.
You know what's the
And you
problem
know what
with
he
that,
said?
Clutch?
No, you know what was funny? What he said? Oh,
Wait,
James Harden is better in every
how
stat
many?
except
How many do
defense.
we
Like
have?
defense isn't half the game.
Man, you know what's the problem with James Harden? When a team, and Tim Legler actually said this, when a team relies on James Harden during the regular season, you're kind of setting yourself up for failure, because in the playoffs, you're not going to get those calls all the time. And if you notice, James Harden, when he's scoring at a high rate, he's getting to the free throw line 15, 16, 17 times. So you cannot set up yourself for a person that's always looking for contact and doesn't perform in other parts. When it comes to game 6, game 7, he kind of falls into the same bracket of Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers, a game 6, a closeout game. Game 6 or game 7, he's lost 10 of them. You cannot win with that. And Doc Rivers might get another job. He might get the Phoenix job if he wants it. So those are situations where you're looking at, like, to what point, like you said, Clutch,
Well, if
to
you're
what
if
point
you're a
do you continue to
fan
do
of that
this?
team, Alex, would you be excited if you got Doc Rivers as your head coach?
Not really, man, because I wouldn't be excited at all, because I know he can't close it out.
Let me add.
Go ahead, Miss Culture.
I agree. Sometimes it depends. It could be, and like I've mentioned this, even in, I don't even know who I was talking to at this point, but it could just be the player may not be. I think it was with you guys. The player may not fit the team, and or in this case, the coach may not fit the team. Let's talk about. I mean, the Golden State Warriors when they had Mark Jackson. They literally got all those players. He had them for that 1 year, but it wasn't going anywhere. And what did they do? They brought in Kerr, because sometimes you could have the roster but not have the right the right coach, and vice versa. You can have the right coach and not have the right roster. So maybe if he did go to Phoenix, it might work out for them. But I don't know. This would be what, his third team, if not
Yeah.
his 14. So
Well,
it'd be a tall order, but I think he would have younger pieces that he could definitely work with a couple of veterans.
Orlando,
Now,
Boston,
Orlando, Celtics,
Clippers.
this would be his fourth.
So fifth. This would be his
fifth,
fifth team.
Fifth?
fifth. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They rotate, but
Yeah, no,
I
it's
want to
fair.
go back real quick because I think he said you made one point and I was like, man, that's so true. The reason why Harden will never be as good as Wade is because Harden is a one-way player.
Yep.
Dwayne Wade is an actual two-way player. A two-way player can play offense and can play defense. He can go off on defense the whole game and give you no offense, or the same in vice versa, or he can do both at the same, in the same game. It just depends on the matchup and what you need from that player. That's why James Harden, in my opinion, would never be Wade, because Dwayne Wade is an actual two-way player that Harden will never be.
And you can argue that Dwayne Wade is the third best shooting guard of all times, and all those 3
100%.
top shooting guards were two-way players: Michael Jordan, Kobe, and Wade, all in the same.
100%.
Different talents
In that
at certain
position.
points, but they played the game in the right way. You have to be a two-dimensional player to be a great player. James Harden is a great scorer. He's a great distributor. He's a great offensive player, but he's not better overall.
He's not an overall player. No, not at all. And you can't. And this is why this is why I will never take Luka Doncic as being a great player, because he's not a two-way player.
Yeah.
Luka Doncic is a scorer,
Mhm.
and that's it. Like nothing else. Literally nothing else. He may do a little bit of passing. I get his assists are all right, but he's just a scorer. That's all you're gonna get out
Yeah,
of him.
you need to
But
surround those people with a great defensive team,
yeah,
big
but
man,
to
to
me,
in order
he's
to
not all
succeed.
that.
Yeah,
He's not. He's just hyped, in my opinion. He is just hype. That's all.
I mean,
Has
I'll take him.
anybody
Yeah,
has
if we
anybody
got
milked
you.
that 2008 championship more than Kendrick Perkins and Doc Rivers?
Oh my
That whole
God!
Celtics team, they
First of
just
all,
flaunt that ring everywhere.
Kevin McHale handed them Kevin Garnett, and then they traded off to they acquired Ray Allen too. So you're removed from that, Clutch and Justin. Doc Rivers, he's a successful coach, but he's not a championship winning coach. Every other opportunity that he's had, he's lost the closeout series.
He's blown.
Every other
I don't know
opportunity.
how many series he's blown because
10.
he's had
10.
leads in all of them.
Yes, even against the Lakers in the finals, with the Clippers, 3-1, he lost the series too, and then he blamed the bubble. Oh, the bubble wasn't a good fit for us. I don't understand any coach that would say you're playing pure basketball. And
Yeah,
I don't
if
know
you
if there was
hear Spoelstra when he talked about the bubble, he's like, "We love the bubble.
of course
The bubble
You don't
brings
have to
out the
travel.
purest
You
form
don't
of
have to go
basketball."
nowhere.
nothing.
Respect the
You're
bubble.
well rested. What you said it was the epitome. What I loved about the bubble, it was just like it reminded me of just playing high school pickup balls and going to the gyms right now in the recs, and you just pick up. It was just guys playing ball. That's it. That was it. It was pure basketball. No distractions.
So let me ask you guys this. Okay, we know, and I know Clutch and Alex Alex and I have spoke, but now that we're all together here with Miss Culture, aka Miss Fins, you know, just love it. I love that how it all just came together. She's like, I have a surprise. I was kind of like, I'm like,
I know.
oh, I
That's
think.
why I was like, I have to get home. Okay, give me a minute.
And then we got Justin and Alex. But let me ask. So we know this team, obviously, the regular season Miami Heat was kind of a disappointment, but we knew that if they could get in the playoffs, this was to be a different squad. They play different in the playoffs. But I think Alex and I agree. I think Clutch, you could follow up or tell me I'm crazy. We do still expect changes with this squad. Now, if they win the finals, maybe not as extreme changes, right? But still some changes because you got players on there that you got to move around, you got to resign and bring somebody. But what kind? Let's say they miss out. I'll start with you, Clutch, and then we'll go to Miss Culture, and then Justin, and then Alex. You could respond and close that part out.
No problem.
Clutch. Let's say the Heat lose against the Celtics; they're eliminated. How do you see this playing out? Like, what can you see them doing? What players could be on the block? What happens with the 18th pick? You don't have to, of course, I gave you a lot there, but just a summary of kind of like, okay, this is Bobby. This is kind of how I see it playing out.
Listen, it sucks for him, but one thing that he has proved this playoffs is that they can win serious basketball games without Tyler Hero, and that makes him expendable in a trade to get better.
Good point.
If you lose to the Celtics, that's another year that Jimmy Butler goes nuclear, and you can't get over the hump. At some point, I know it's a funny thing on Twitter. You need to get Jimmy Butler some help. So if you lose to the Celtics, it's still the same thing as it was back if we would have lost in the play-in. You need to make serious moves to get this guy who has put everything out for your team some help to win the championship, whether that's in the form of Damian Lillard, like we talked about, or if it's ex star player that wants out, or if it's just getting a bunch of competent role players, of bench players that can help bolster this team. But you still need to do something, and I think, sadly, I like the guy, but Tyler Hero, we've proven that we can win without him, and he's the odd guy out. I think you can also say the same for you're gonna probably have to let Gabe walk because he's gonna just demand a whole bunch of money that you don't have to spend. Max Strus, we'll see. I think he's on a we'll see thing. You keep Caleb Martin at all costs unless it's on a trade for a star. But I think you still need to do these moves because Jimmy has given a lot to us, and it's time for them to support him in a way that makes us contenders for him to get one championship before his career is over. Before his prime is over.
I think that's fair, man. I think that's a lot of great points in that small window, and I appreciate you actually giving me a lot more because after I asked the question, I was like, damn, he's probably like dickhead Bobby just throwing a bunch of stuff at me. But you did really well. Thank you, Clutch. Miss Finns, you agree? You follow up, or is there a player on your mind going, no, man, he need to make a move on this dude?
Oh, I'm gonna actually. First of all, I love everything that he said, and I have to concur. We definitely did prove that we don't need a Tyler Hero, but I'm always about weapons. If you don't have to get rid of him, you keep him. But the player that I know people are probably gonna crucify me for is Bam. Listen, I love Bam,
Turn
and
off
I
your
was
camera,
just
Alex.
listening to UD. I love UD,
Yeah.
and I was just listening to an interview that he just did, specifically speaking about Bam. Bam is 25 years old. I understand he's still learning the game, and I totally understand that. But when learning the game, this isn't his first year or second year, even third year. This is, if I'm not mistaken, this is his fourth year in the league, correct? Is it his
Yeah.
third or fourth?
No, it's his fourth. Fifth?
fourth.
It's his
Fifth?
fourth.
Well, he was
Wait,
drafted
this-
in 17, I believe.
Okay.
He was drafted in 17, really?
17 or 18.
Yeah.
Those two.
17.
Oh, yeah. So he was 19, 20 years old. Very, very, very young. So I'm all for development. I totally get that. This is my issue with Bam. He is too inconsistent in that paint. You're six. I mean, I always say for this man, I mistake his height all the time. I'm like, you're 7'3", you're 6'9", you're just like, what? I always mistake his height. But realistically speaking, he is way too tall and a little too finesse for the type of team that we have. We need somebody that's a big body that you can't move. Now, I know this has been like out there, perhaps, how would Miami be if I didn't beat? You know what I mean? We need somebody in the middle, in my opinion, a true center.
Yeah, I agree.
Even though I love Taylor or whatever. But we need a true center. We get that true center, in my opinion. That's going to be the anchor that we have in this team because right now we just don't have it in Bam. I love his offense, but I don't need you at point guard, man. Like, I need you to actually dunk these balls or get close to to the backboard and get these easy layups. And he acts like he's 5'7" and he's 6'9". Like, so for me, he's just not using his body. Maybe he's got to gain more weight because I know he's 255, but he's got to do something. If we're gonna keep him, he needs more weight and he needs to be not pushed around because he gets ragdolled every time I see him, in my opinion, or at least half the game, and that's frustrating for me. That would be my guy, in my opinion.
All right. So I know Alex wants to go, but I'm gonna have
Alex.
Alex. I know Alex. Alex, bite your tongue for 1 minute.
I'll wait.
Justin, your thoughts, brother?
Alex, if you want to go first, feel free.
No. Don't worry about it. Go, everybody go. I already talked enough.
Alex is gonna wrap us up. I know where he's going, so I'll let him
Don't
have
worry.
the final.
I think both you guys made points, Clutch and Miss Culture. I mean, man, what can you say at this point? Hero, he may have overstayed his welcome in Miami, seeing as where he is now not here and the team is just playing so great. He is expendable. And what kind of player can you get for him alone? Maybe not the star that you're looking for. You'd have to package him. But it seems like nobody's going to take that coveted package that everyone throws out, Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, second-round picks. No, you would need to probably give up a guy like Bam in order to get somebody like Damian Lillard or Joel Embiid if it is a big guy that you need. Now, what would you put next to Jimmy that would really help him? A point guard like Damian Lillard or a big guy like Joel Embiid? That's my question to all of you. What would help this team win a championship more?
Personally, I think it's something in the middle. Not a point guard and not a center, but another wing.
In the same way that the big three and Mario Chalmers running point.
Go ahead, I would say big man because we have rotational players and bench players that can come in. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. It broke up a little bit.
Can
but
you hear
you're
me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I would say the big because we have bench players and rotational players that can do it. So I'm not worried about us having those players maybe that position, maybe for like for the number three. I would say with that big in that center, that's really what we need right now. We have rotational players that can play the three guard. So I'm not really worried about that position. We have multiple players that can play that. We don't have an actual body center, and that's what I think we need.
That's a good point.
No, I don't disagree. I think if let's say you want to keep Bam, and let's say that's the main agenda, right? Because you don't want to lose good to great players, star players. You want to keep the support for Jimmy, so you don't want to lose a player like Bam. Now, if you're going to get a superstar to pair with him, and you may have to give up a Bam because I don't see anybody saying, okay, I'll give you a Dame Lillard type player. Go ahead and bring me Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson. What's the team really winning there? But you could say, okay, let's trade Tyler. Let's get some quality players, maybe a starter or a rotational player. And then you could look at that 18th overall pick and you say, that's where maybe we could find a center. Maybe you could draft a center at 18, put Bam at the 4. I think Bam would actually be better at the 4 than he is at a center spot. Because I think I agree with Miss Culture, where you do need you need a legit center where you're not questioning how he's going to play against Joker or how he's going to play against Joel Embiid and those big guys, or Robert Williams, which is going to happen now with Grant Williams, and where you always go, you see these guys being a bully inside, or he's not willing to go and take the shot. He goes to lay it in or dunk it, and then he passes it out, and then he misses a spot. You want a guy in that physical presence that maybe Bam could be a lot more comfortable not having to be playing on the inside, but more in that mid line.
Exactly.
But, Alex, floor is yours. God
Okay.
help us all.
I'll follow up with this.
Clutch is clenching his fist right now about
Number
you
one.
saying put Bam at the 4.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. My bad.
I'll break it to you. Bam Adebayo is not going anywhere for anybody right now. You've made solid points with Tyler Hero because, like you said, it's a luxury. Tyler Hero is one of the most gifted offensive players in the NBA, hands down. His defense has improved a little bit, but we've shown that we can win without him in the fold. I agree with that 100%. So if we have a tradable asset, it is Tyler Hero. It is a future first-round picks, possibly Jovic. But one of the things that I won this offseason, one of my priorities, honestly, I envision Jovic coming off, being a regular part of the rotation next year, even playing the point forward off the bench. Jovic was a guard, a 6'2" guard, so he's used to handling the point, and I believe he's going to be a key part of the rotation, another developmental piece growing within the organization for Jimmy, for Bam. So that's one part. Across the league, a lot of moving parts are going to come because it still depends what Dame's going to do, what Embiid is going to do. Free agency options with like a Brook Lopez. Do we pluck him away from Milwaukee? Because I think Brook will be perfect next to Bam too. So there's a lot of components here where it's really going to come down to what are we going to do with Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson. There's situations where their values now, they're not negative value anymore. When the season was over, at the end of the regular season, you can name no team that would acquire a Lowry or a Duncan Robinson at all whatsoever. It's the bad. Hey, and Bobby and Clutch knows it. That's why he keeps putting it up and up and up and up. Bam's Adebayo.
Oh,
I
just saw it.
You don't see it? You saw it?
I finally saw it, yeah.
He is a natural. Bam has never been a natural scorer. Fans are looking to Bam to be a natural scorer. And what I told Bobby before the season started, I'm like, what you're going to see this year is more consistency with his jump shot. He's going to continue to develop it. He's going to continue to grow.
He's going to be hitting the 3 this year. That's what you did.
No. That's next year. I didn't say this year.
You say
Alex.
Said,
no.
Alex.
No. When you do that, you start with a corner 3. I said this year, the most important part is that he's hitting consistently those 15 to 18 footers. Consistently, not doubting himself. I know what I said, man. It's part of the development.
Gosh.
But that aside.
You're worse than a politician, man. You change.
Look at this, man. Oh, put back the tape up. Put back the tape.
I'm going to pull the tape. And you'll be like this. You go, oh, well, what I meant to say was.
Hey, look, Bam, what people don't see, Bam is your anchor defensively. Bam ignites so many things, even offensively. one of the things I told Bob before with Kyle Lowry when we acquired him, he puts you in place, and Kyle Lowry's right now in the perfect position, running the second unit. But when you have Point Bam, it gives you so much versatility that people don't understand. Well, it's kind of like Wembayama. Just because you're a certain height is like you can't be defined by that height, and you have to play a certain role. You need a basketball player, and it gives you so much versatility that at any point, Bam can guard anybody from 1 through 5, or offensively, he can play any position, really. So it just gives you so much versatility in your offensive and your defensive schemes. And like I said, changes
The
are
Swiss
going to
Army
come.
knife.
Yeah, he is. He's your Swiss Army knife. And changes will come. And don't be surprised. I just want to see what they do. Kyle Lowry's value, like I mentioned, goes up. There's going to be a team that wants to acquire a veteran point guard on an expiring deal. Duncan Robinson, all of a sudden, doesn't look like such a negative asset to a team that needs scoring, a team that needs shooting. So that is all going to play into Gabe Vincent, Max Strus. Do they allocate themselves in the money that you trade with Kyle and Duncan? Do you let them walk? Because you got Jamal Cain as an undrafted free agent. That's going to be possibly part of the rotation. You got Bouye Clutch. Correct me. I always mess up his name. Bouye. Bouye. That's your backup point guard next year. Bouye. That's your backup point guard next year. So they're not going to be prisoners of the moment. And that happened at times, but you can count on them. No matter what happens, there's going to be sound decisions made because this is also a transition year. There's many things that could fall depending on the whole landscape of the NBA. That's why I'm really not going to say anything until we see who demands a trade, who ends up coaching who, the draft plays out. That's when you're going to start seeing the landscape play out. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun, but changes will come.
So you're hedging your bets.
So
You're hedging your bets. You're like, I'm going to wait till everything plans out. I'm going to wait till the final day of the offseason. Then I'm going to say, this is how it's going to go. You do the same over and over and over again.
Demands a trade, bro. Did we know Kevin Durant was going to demand a trade last year? Did we know Donovan Mitchell was going to demand a trade last year? We don't.
But it won't matter because if we can't trade Bam, because you know they're going to sign like, oh, if somebody says, let's name a random superstar. Let's say Joker.
Mm-hmm.
Joker says, I want to get traded. Oh, everybody's going to say,
really?
Miami Heat go after Joker. Just a superstar.
Really?
The Heat are going after Joker. No, man, don't trade Bam. Only Tyler Hero. It's like, what does it matter, Alex?
If we didn't trade Bam for Kevin Durant when we had the chance, and Bam was never offered, there's no superstar now in this cycle that we're going to trade Bam.
Maybe after this season, after what they saw, yeah, maybe.
Crazy talk.
Maybe.
Crazy talk.
Maybe they realized. Maybe they were watching you on Goon Squad and Fast Break, and they're like, let's listen to Alex. And after they said, I went, oh shit, we did the wrong thing.
Do everything that you didn't say.
Do the opposite. He can't even get the real 2K. He has Xbox One.
Hey, man, that's wrong, bro.
That's
wrong.
I have all of them, so it is what it is.
Whoa, Miss Coach. You're going to just come and say that?
What'd she say? What you gotta hear? What?
She got all Xbox.
Oh, no. Well, in my family, we're avid gamers, and we have way too many.
Well, Alex, the reason why I brought this up was because I have Xbox Series X and I got NBA 2K, and it's the first time I said it was on sale, so I was like, I'm gonna get it. And I get it every year, but I got it obviously later this year. And they have this NBA eras where you could play the Larry Bird era, you could play the Michael Jordan, the 2002 squad where you drafted LeBron and Wade, and then you have the normal. And I told Alex, like, dude, this is freaking epic. I love this. You could kind of, what would have happened if the Heat would have got the first pick? And so he was like, holy crap, I can't wait to do that when I get home. Finally gets home, long day, had a birthday party, middle of the night. Finally, everybody goes to sleep. He's all excited. He's going to his little Xbox 360. And
wait, why you gotta say that shit? A little Xbox, like I'm a little kid. He goes a little Xbox.
Got it on eBay. He was like,
I got a 360 too, man. I love my 360. Screen, let's go.
No, it's Xbox One. But he texted me. He's like, Bobby, I don't see it. And he found out, not for Xbox Series X.
30 minutes, I was looking for that arrow. 30 minutes. I got on, and I traded Jimmy. I traded everybody. I just launched everybody from Miami. Traded everybody.
He traded Jimmy. But who did you not trade?
Huh?
Bam.
I didn't trade Bam. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Exactly. What?
He's going to trade the guy who brings us to the dance, but he's not going to trade the guy that doesn't grow. I'm just playing.
And I blame it on you, Bobby. I blame it on
you. Let me just say, let me just do this very quick because we're about an hour and a half in. It's just been an awesome show. And this to be hanging out with you guys and have Miss Culture here joining us. But Justin, again, long time no see. We talked when you joined the channel. So I'm just very thankful for you to be a part of us and our network. And then Clutch, never see, but always hear your voice, but finally good to talk. Yeah. But before we close it out, Clutch, final thoughts on the draft lottery tonight and the upcoming series between the Heat and Celtics before we move on to Justin, Miss Culture, and then Alex.
Well, I mean, the draft lottery kind of played out like before the lottery started. I told you what I wanted, and I got what I wanted. So I'm very pleased with how the lottery played out. I'm sorry, Justin.
Not even
But
once.
and
Because it doesn't matter because I can't even see you, Clutch.
That's awesome. Oh.
all right.
He's gonna one day he's just gonna show up like one eyeball. There, you see me now. Hey, close it back out. That's awesome.
John Cena. He can't
John
see.
Cena. Yeah. Oh, there he goes. Watch 2 seconds. He'll
Little
pop
Bart.
John Cena. Miss.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Heat series. I think the Heat are gonna get it done. I keep saying it over and over and over, but Jimmy Butler's confident, so I'm confident because whenever he says something, it tends to happen, or at least get very close to happening. So I'm all for it, and let's take a second to make fun of those losers in Philadelphia for gift wrapping him to us for Josh Richardson.
Bunch of
Tobias
dumb-
Harris over me.
Tobias Harris.
I still remember that game he did it live. That
Oh,
was
it's
hilarious. That was
And
hilarious.
being up
Do you
in
know-
Pennsylvania
do you know
right
since-
now.
Do you know since Jimmy Butler left Philadelphia has 0 conference finals, and Miami has 3.
You see that? And I just love how I love all the receipts that come in, and when people are tweeting like, enjoy your long vacation, enjoy this, and it's like, you look at it, it's like, where have you been? You really put your foot in your mouth. I just love seeing that. It's just shivers down my spine. It's like, yes. Miss Culture, aka Miss Fins, joined us. Any final thoughts, my friend, before we close this out? Uh-oh.
Oh my goodness, yes. Well, this about the draft. Honestly, I don't really pay attention to the draft, either or Dolphins or. Well, no, I'm not gonna lie. I do for the Dolphins. It's for the
I know
Heat,
you do with the
eh,
Dolphins. You
whatever.
lying. I know you do with the Dolphins.
Yeah, yeah, for the Dolphins I do. But for the Heat,
Misleading
like,
us. Misleading us.
yeah.
I know. That's a new show
But
name.
as
There's
far as
Miss
this
Fins,
game,
Miss Culture, misleading.
Misleading.
There's hashtag trademark.
That's a no. Bobby,
Yes.
trademark that one.
I know,
Trademark
son
that
of a
one.
bitch. I'm just kidding.
I already took this one, so you can't take this one. As far as this game one, it's tomorrow, right?
Yep,
This is
correct.
gonna be electric. This might actually be better than the finals, if I'm gonna be honest with you. This series might actually be better than the finals. It's gonna be literally battle royale. Which bench is gonna outlast the rest? Now, one point that Alex made earlier is that I loved and I wanted to follow up, but I forgot. The adjustments that Spoelstra made is great, but one thing I don't know if you guys noticed, especially in this last series, how everybody was like, the Knicks #1 in rebounding, blah 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 blah. And what did the Heat do? They obliterated. It wasn't even like 50% more, 100%. No, they triple the amount of rebounds that the Heat got versus the Knicks. They just were all over the boards, and to me, that's going to be very important for us, especially in this series, going up against their big guys. So that will be my key to win the boards. I think we win the boards, we take care of the foul line, we should be good. But this is gonna be a battle, and I can't wait because oh man, it's a rematch. Come on, man, who doesn't want a rematch?
Love it.
So I'm excited for it.
Love it. Justin, my brother, final thoughts, sir.
Few things I love more than screwing with the big leagues, the sports gods, the casual fans, everything. Let me explain. 2017-18, UCF goes undefeated. We claim a national title. We piss off all the pundits, all the Bama fans, and it's just hilarious watching them lose themselves online. The past year, and then in 2017, the Houston Astros winning the World Series. I know, controversy, it happened, it sucks, but getting to rub it in a Yankees fan's face who wanted Houston get swept and getting to see them not win the World Series, and about to happen, No Lakers Celtics finals. Let's go Heat.
Let's go Heat.
Love it.
Yes.
Love
Let's
it.
go Heat Denver finals. I'm calling it now. Heat Denver finals.
Alex,
Yes.
I'm not going to do what I did to you last night and close out the show
No.
while you're talking midway. So your
That's
final
a new
thoughts.
tradition. That's a new tradition.
That's
One thing that one of the matchups that I'm intrigued by with the Celtics and Heat, I think it could come down to the Malcolm Brogdon versus Kyle Lowry coming off the bench and leading those second units. That could be very key in this series because it could switch games, momentums in a matter of seconds. No matter the result, I'm gonna say this before I go into that one. Wembayama, San Antonio, perfect scenario, perfect landing spot for the rookie, Hall of Fame coach, Hall of Fame organization.
Yeah.
So once again, parity. What I love about this NBA is that has the most parity I've ever seen. Where any given time with the nucleuses that are coming up in the West with Chet Holmgren and OKC, obviously the whole situation with Ja Morant, Memphis takes a step back, but there's so much parity in the NBA that across the board, when you see these teams compete, which only favors to me the Heat, right now, no matter what happens to us, Eastern Conference Finals or the Finals, players across the league take a look. And Pat Riley is a mastermind when it comes to a disgruntled superstar, players that are tired in their situations, they're not winning. This sells itself. Not all about the culture. The whole NBA knows about the culture. But when you see playing in the biggest stage, no matter what happens, people gravitate to it. People will move for it. People will ask for it. So every situation happens for a reason. We struggled this season. We might finish off strong. No matter who it is. I think Denver's going to come out of the West. So if we can maneuver around the Celtics and close them out, it's going to be a fun NBA series. But no matter what, this secures the possibility for a better tomorrow, whether we win or lose, because we are on center stage and everybody, no matter how many percentages, thinks that we can win this because they didn't think we could win the Bucks. They didn't think we could beat the Bucks. They didn't think we could beat the Knicks. No matter what happens, we will prosper. And to me, it's going to be a fun series. No matter what happens, I want to enjoy it, and I do believe we'll come out on top.
All right, that about wraps it up. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to watching this special edition show of NBA Draft Lottery coverage and the Eastern Conference preview between the Heat and Celtics. That's Alex Tiachiska. That's Justin. That's Miami Clutch. That's now Miss Culture when she's
Miss
talking
Culture.
Heat. And I guess you call me Bobby Heat Talk for tonight. Appreciate you all for tuning in. Like, subscribe,
Bobby
and
Knight.
we'll see you. Yeah, that's right. And have a good night, everyone.
Peace, Miami.
Bye.